What it is, guys, it's your old boy Pilk, and I'm coming at you with kind of a Dragon Ball Super review, but I'm so late on this, it's kind of pointless. We know so much more information. I'm just going to get to the meat and potatoes of really important stuff that happened in last episode, and this is going to be more hype for episode 97, which kicks off, in just a matter of hours. It's 1 p.m. where I'm at right now, so we got about 8 hours to episode 97. So much hype. So much hype. But let's talk about a few of the really important things. First things first, we did find out what the Tournament of Powers stage is actually made of. We discovered it's made of this substance called Kachi. Kachin. If you remember the Kachin, it was the metal that the Kaioshin can summon. We also found out that that was a Universe 7 thing only, which is interesting. It makes you wonder, obviously Universe 7 is now important. Are they really going to destroy it? Is this going to go somewhere else? It kind of seems pointless. It seems like everything's really stacked in Seven's favor, because we already know our heroes exist later on, so it's... I don't know. We'll see. I'm interested to see where it's going, but it does kind of kill some of the tension. But neither here nor there. What's really interesting is if you go back and watch the intro, and I think we get a new intro tonight, I could be wrong, but if we get the same intro, if we still get Limit Break X Survivor, pay close attention, because there's all these things that happen. Explosions and stuff like that, especially when Ribrianne fires a Ki Blast at Vegeta. And we already know she's no joke, because she's forced Vegeta to go Super Saiyan. And his Super Saiyan form is already 50 times stronger than his base, which we know is insane. So, yeah, she's no joke. And even her Ki Blast didn't do a darn thing to the stage. But... and then we got Goku powering up in his Super Saiyan form. Doesn't touch the stage. A little bit of dust flying everywhere. That's about it. But then, when he powers up into his new form, because he goes through blue and everything, when he powers up into his new form, whatever that form is, it destroys the stage. Interesting. And we get a taste early in the episode of how strong this substance is. When the other Kaioshin, I can't remember the little fuzzy guy's name, him and Liquor, whatever you want to call him, and Iraq, when those guys show up, they kick off a fight, obviously testing the stage, because, if you guys remember, Daishinkan basically challenged me, said, look, if you guys are worried about the integrity, go ahead and have it out. And they do, and they actually break the stage a little bit. They don't destroy it, but they certainly, especially in this last shot where they're fighting and they leave that huge crater, tells you that the Kaioshin are up there. I mean, they're I'm off camera about, they're freaking strong. So is this alluding to that Goku and Jiren are that strong? Interesting. And how strong are they compared to Beerus? Who knows? We don't know. It'll be very interesting. But little clues they've given us, little tiny clues they've given us that tell us that shit's going nuts. And the thing I love is when they're getting ready to do the fight, and they invite Gene. I forget which universe he's from, but they invite him to join in the fight. He's like, nah, I already know the results, bro. Have at it. And, of course, what happens? They fuck up the stage. Daishinkan's like, cool, I gotta go open up. Y'all fix that for me, would you? And he's just back there smirking. Love it. I loved that. That was so beautiful. Of course, after that, we get Frieza showing up. This part was moderately important, but I'm not going to cover it too much because there's only a little bit of stuff here that's really all that important to the going plot as far as the tournament goes on. Of course, he starts crap and Beerus steps in and is like, hey, look, you fuck around and I'm going to ruin you. I will waste your ass. And we already know that Frieza knows he's no match for Beerus. His whole plan is to manipulate them. We found that out 2 episodes ago, so we're not worried about that. And of course, the interaction where Vegeta's like, the Angel's Halo looks good on you, and then he's like, how about I give you one as a present? I love that little exchange. Not overly important, but it's a thing. Now, the one thing that is important, that is interesting to point out, of course, the whole situation is interrupted. Shin comes in and is like, "Hey, how about we talk some strategy?" And of course, both Vegeta is like, he's like, strategy. I find a strong person and I whip his ass. And of course, they have to remind him. They're like, "Hey, look, dummy. If you fuck around and the universe gets destroyed, that's it." I mean, and it's really cool. It's really dark about this, and they keep reminding you, like, it's not like y'all die and you go to the afterlife. No, there is no afterlife. There's no nothing. I mean, because we always had. That's always been the joke that there's no real punishment for dying in Dragon Ball Z. You die, you go to the afterlife, and you get to keep your body for the most part. So there's not really. DBZA made a great joke about that. There's really no deficit to it whatsoever. So it's like, and now there's real peril. Like, there is tremendous peril. But of course, that whole exchange goes down. And meanwhile, Shin's like, "Hey, look, all right, here's what we're going to do. One guy attacks, we attack with two. Two guys attack, we attack with three. So on and so forth." And that's smart because he already knows they're targeted. They are a target. We know they're a target. They know they're a target for the most part, except for Goku, who's an idiot. But we'll get to that. And of course, Goku comes up and is like, "Hey, that's not fair, guy. That's what kind of shit is this?" And of course, they're like, I love how Vegeta agrees with him, and then Beerus steps in and is like, "Don't fuck around. The universe is at stake here, guys. Don't fuck around." I love this exchange. So I said I wasn't going to glare on this too long, but then Captain Troll Whis shows up and is like, "All right, everybody circle up." And we get to the World of Void. And immediately, as soon as they get there, other universes start showing up, and they didn't have to circle up. Whis is just a damn troll. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. But then, of course, they start investigating the tournament floor, and they find out, yeah, you fall off, you kind of fall. I don't think there's a bottom there. It doesn't seem like there's a bottom. You just fall. You keep falling. That in and of itself is a pretty disturbing prospect. Pretty disturbing prospect. This tournament's going to be no joke, guys. This tournament is going to be no joke. And, of course, they also find out you can't fly. Naturally, Goku has to try this out for himself. And falls on his... Well, he doesn't fall on his ass, but, yeah, it's no good. Now, I will say, of course, we find out that, if you naturally can fly, that's that. And for whatever reason, and, DBZ magic, Dragon Ball magic in general, each tournament fighter feels the gravity from their original land, which is interesting. That's pretty interesting. So is Goku going to feel Planet Vegeta's gravity? Because it's different than Earth. Or is he going to feel his own? Interesting. I'm curious how they're going to handle that. But I guess they're just going to feel Vegeta's gravity. It's not that big a deal, really. But what's really neat, so Universe 11's fighters show up, and that's how they find all that out. Now, pay close attention to this pink guy here doing kind of the sumo deal. I think he's going to be important. I think he kind of looks like a jabroni, and he looks like he's going to get wrecked, and that's probably what he's there for, but at the same rate, I think he's going to clear the field. I think he's going to be a surprise asset to that team, because we already know that that the teams are stacked with people that legitimately, they're just there. Like, I can't remember the giant robot thing's name, but his whole thing is he's just going to suction himself to the floor and cling on for dear life. I guess that's what the flying characters are there for. They're just hoping to hang on. I think he's gonna be a surprise asset and just knock a bunch of dudes off. Probably, it looks like he's the type of dude who can take a ton of hits and just and yeah, probably shove a bunch of people off. That'll be interesting. That'll be really interesting. I don't think he's gonna last long, but it'll be interesting. I think that's why they also got the flyers. So we'll see what happens. A little prediction. We can't go, though, without talking about the Frieza Frost meetup. Now, interesting fact here. We all know how these two characters are. They're the same, but they're different. Frost is a little more manipulative than Frieza. And yes, that's true. Go back and watch his whole backstory. He manipulated the shit out of everyone. He made them think that he was a hero. And he did all this stuff in the background. And even when he was fighting, he fought with like those poison needles and things. So we know he's a manipulator. And Frieza, on the other hand, is just flat out like evil emperor, like, and I talked about in the last video, like he's got a lot of hubris. He's used to being in that imperial kind of forefront. So I love this exchange between them because, of course, Frieza's like, so you like leading by power too, and of course Frost's like, yeah, I do. You're right. Yeah, sure. Mm-hmm. So Frieza's like, and it's interesting, pay attention to his wording. Do you want to work with me? He doesn't mean with, he means for. Because we already know Frieza's going to try to double cross him. Frieza's not a dummy. He knows he needs to get rid of everyone else in the tournament. He knows that. So when it comes down to it, he's going to double cross Frost. Of course, Frost is like, yeah, I'll work with you, buddy. You trust me completely. Yeah, I'm your guy. I'm your guy. And we know Frost is going to double cross him. So interesting exchange here. I think they're really gonna screw something up. I think they're gonna go, crazy. But I'm curious. And of course, we also got to talk about the interaction between the two Universes Saiyans. You got Kaba, who's a fanboy over Vegeta, and one of my favorite interactions was Caulifla and Goku, where Goku's like, "Oh, you're Saiyan too. Hey, how's it going?" And she's just like, "Fuck that. We're going to see who's the strongest." And he's like, I like the attitude. I love that whole exchange. That whole thing's interesting. And I think she's going to surprise him because we know she has Super Saiyan 2 up her sleeve. So, like it or not, that's what that was. I did a whole thing on that. But, in fact, I don't think I posted that, did I? I think that one was so late I didn't even bother posting it. So, interesting exchange. But then, of course, the most important thing that happens in this episode, and an interesting fact here. So Goku and Vegeta, we already know they can sense ki. I don't think we've discussed that Kaba can sense ki. I don't remember him being able to do that, but it was kind of vague. And it's interesting that Caulifla and Kale can't. So the fact that he can is suddenly pretty interesting. But of course, the Super Sentai Universe 11, Pride Troopers show up. And the most important thing here is Goku's interaction with Jiren and Toppo. Because Goku's an idiot. Goku knows he's the villain of this whole arc. And like it or not, Goku is the bad guy. He is straight up the bad guy of this arc. And I love the Goku black face he makes here when he's like, "You want to finish what we started?" Dude, Goku, you gotta stop proving that you're just fucking evil. It's just... Because he's not evil. He's just an idiot. And they really feed off of that here. They really feed off of that. So, I can't wait to see how that goes down. But of course, Toppo's like, "You just get out of here and get time for you. I'll deal with you if I must, but just bye." And then, of course, he sees Jiren. And we already know he's going to be like, hey, he's the one you're talking about. He's the strong one, huh? Hey, buddy. And Jiren's just like, get lost. Dude. Even I was like, when did he... Oh, boy, it's quick. But watch how he trains. He trains like Piccolo. I mean, he's just very no-nonsense. He's going to be kind of like your old school Superman. Like if you guys remember like really old Superman comics. Benevolent for the sake of benevolence. No real personality. I'm talking like Golden Age comics. Like no personality. It's just benevolent for the sake of benevolent. Very, very boring. But I don't think Jiren's going to be boring because he's going to be fighting. But his personality is, best I could tell, non-existent. Which is kind of the way we need to be. We haven't had too many characters like that. You can argue we've had bad characters as far as personality goes, but I don't think we've had one that was just that blanket. And then Goku finally understands it. He's like, hey, this guy's not fucking around. And finally, well, I got one other thing to talk about, but finally, what's really interesting here, if you guys notice, it wasn't just like the Hakaishin as they were repairing the stage. They didn't just go, all right, quick, fix it. Yeah, I fuck up a lot. And no, they were like Licker's like, hey, watch this, and start screwing with people. Because I mean, real talk, if you're not there, if you can't dodge that, what are you doing there? That's just real. I still can't. I don't know how my feels on this whole thing. So, we know Jiren didn't move. Did he manipulate the blocks? Is he stronger than Licker? What's the deal with that? Did he just read them long in advance? He couldn't have because they weren't even doing that. I don't know. That's a lot of people were fanboying about that. It rubbed me the wrong way. I don't know. But I do get the impression that I think he's strong enough that he was just kind of like he was able to manipulate them without moving a muscle. And we've seen things like that before, so old boy is strong. And finally, let's talk about this Yardrat. Now, we know he's from Universe 2. We were all like, oh, he's Universe 6, he's this, he's that. Universe 2. Goku couldn't have crossed universes. Which, was it Universe 4, I believe, is hiding people? Maybe they're hiding Saiyans? I don't know. If there could be Yardrat in other universes, that means there could be Saiyans in other universes. There's lots of possibilities. Did he defect? That could be an interesting fact. Because we know they went through the rulebooks because Frieza was going to defect. And there's nothing against defectors. I would wager he's not from Universe 7. Because the Universe 7 Yardrats look quite a bit different. They have like a more buggy eye and more of a sunken face and just more features. But he's definitely something. I would say he's like the Universe 6 Saiyans. He's evolved differently. So, I don't know. We'll see what happens. Can't wait for it, guys. There are going to be so many more answers coming up in just a few short hours. I hope you like it. If you did, hit that thumbs up. Hit that thumbs up if you're excited for episode 97. I'm going to go ahead and do a review of that ASAP tonight. I'm going to try to get it out at least early in Sunday morning. Need to get back on that. It's just, my time's been crazy lately. But hit that like button. Comment below if you have any comments about this. And as always, hit me up on Booker, and I will lay your ass out next time.